Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. Don't worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. I'd like to say that I had a great week, but my project for putting in concrete to put up a greenhouse turned into a complete nightmare situation. And while they were excavating, they slammed into three cement structure, like supports, for what I think was an old windmill from like the
Nice.
early 1800s.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
They use those, I'm sure. They just built right onto them, right?
I
Do
don't
they have to
know.
remove them or do they just go around them?
Oh no, they're gonna have to be jackhammered out today, so it's gonna get real crazy. But
Well,
yeah,
unfortunately, you can't bond old concrete to new concrete, and I understand that you got to knock it out of the way. I hate that though. I really do.
yeah,
Can't you just use it, supports or something? No, it's got to
no,
come out.
it's got to come out. Yeah. So that was interesting. That really added to my stress.
Hey, at least you're not doing it yourself.
No, I am not
It's
doing
just
it
not a DIY
myself.
project because I would probably just stop there and go, yeah, we're not getting a greenhouse.
I almost, though, in some ways wish it was just a DIY project because then I wouldn't have to pay for all the extra labor and everything else now. Because
Hmm,
the
of
price
course.
just went up on what we thought we were going to be paying to get this done. So that in itself is crazy. Also, too, because of the way that the level of the ground back there, we actually have to build a retaining wall around the structure as well.
Yeah.
Just one fun thing after another.
I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
you'll have a very stable greenhouse.
We will have a very nice greenhouse. Yes.
There you
So
go.
that's I guess the equity that it puts into the property will, I guess, match itself at some point.
Yeah.
Who
I keep
knows?
looking at the side of our house. The only side we have, like we're a rectangle or one of the short sides faces the south, basically. So in order to have any place to put a garden, I kind of have to take out the backyard, like the lawn.
Oh, wow.
It would just because it's really and Marnie loves that lawn and wants to keep it. So I'm like, but that side, one wall is the garage. And if I just took the window out and put a door there and made it into a greenhouse, granted, it won't be huge, but we could probably do it. And
You
it
could
would,
make that work. Yeah.
add heat to the garage during the winter, and all that sort of thing. And I'm looking at it because I have done that kind of work a lot and I do recognize the amount of stuff. And I'm like, okay, so there's that line goes there, this line goes here, and it'd probably be fine. I don't see that it would be a problem. But yeah, there's no way I'm going to try that myself just because of, okay, I need you to dig right here 2 feet and put in footers. Oh, okay. I mean, I could do the work eventually. I mean, I would get a
Right.
sheen, of course, as I'm making a backhoe in there or something. But okay, I could do the work. But what if there is something down there? You know? And for me at this point, it's just not worth it to try to consider, the gas line's over there. It should be fine. Oh, they ran an extra one over here at some point because this house has had so many DIY projects on it that yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm like the electrical's weird. The floors are weird. It's just like, why was this our? I went and vacuumed the first time I moved in. After the first time I vacuumed after we moved in, vacuuming the upstairs hardwood floors. They're beautiful, and I bump one of the baseboards, and it's only like maybe a foot long at most, and it just falls over. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Okay, I guess it wasn't nailed in. Okay, that can happen. Okay. And someone had put a little bit of liquid nail on the back of it and stuck it in there. But the liquid nail, I mean, one, that's not what it's for. But anyway, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just put that back up for right now. No, none of them were nailed in.
Oh,
Someone
jeez.
just pushed them up against the wall with a little bit of liquid nail and just like a little bit of glue, basically. And unfortunately, I mean, they love liquid nail as an addition to it's like wood glue. It's
Sure.
fantastic adding to something, adding two screws or
Yeah,
nails,
not
but
by
you
itself
can't
though.
expect it by itself. Yeah, to do the job. Oh, though that was, I get it. And there's so many little things like that around the house that I just know that if I start digging over there, I'm going to hit something that's not supposed to be there, and that somehow the sensors didn't pick up that wire, or, and I'm going to shut off our internet for a month or something, and my kids are going to revolt and, you
Yeah, you
know,
don't want that.
how dare they? How could you not how can we live without internet? You can live without internet. Trust me, it works. Yeah. Remember when we went outside and read books and stuff like that? We could do all those things. Yeah. My teenagers they would hate me. So not worth the
Mm,
risk, but I
no.
would love a greenhouse, and I can't wait to see pictures of yours when it's up because it's going to be
Oh,
amazing.
it'll definitely, yeah, pictures will definitely be put up when it comes down to it.
Is it big enough for a hot tub?
I mean, yes, it could fit a hot tub in it. I don't
Hmm.
think that we will put one in it, but
Okay.
maybe one of those ones that inflate type of deal. That's always a possibility.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Nice and warm in there. You go in the winter and it's 17 degrees. Yeah, but it's 74 and the
Yeah,
water's, what does it run? 104, 106, something like that. I can't
something
remember what
like
the
that.
minimum is,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's over 100 degrees. Let's go get in the hot tub. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. That's definitely a
That's what I want.
possibility.
That's what I
Yeah.
want. I
I
want to
I
grow
agree.
plants and yeah, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. The other thing that was interesting about digging too in our area is that because of the history of the area, I'm always looking for what's in the dirt because I found it different artifacts and stuff. We just happened to unearth a very old marble when we were digging, I found, and a really couple of old pill bottles from back in the
Hmm.
day. One's a cobalt blue, and it's pretty
Ooh,
much
yeah.
it's like a complete thing. Corey saw it. She was like, "Oh, that'll be really nice in the greenhouse. I can put flowers in that." And I'm like, "Okay, fine."
Oh, so
Um,
it's not a pill bottle like this. It's a bottle.
no, it's this would be like a cut stemmed kind of thing, like a little
Oh, like little
vase type of
buds or
deal.
whatever. Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
or
Gotcha.
propagation basically would be another thing that
Still
it would be
cool.
good for. Yeah, still
Still
really
cool.
cool though,
But if
definitely.
it was a big one, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, this is something that somebody would have carried around in their pocket type of deal.
yeah.
But yeah, we found a couple of those, so that was pretty neat. But that's the kind of stuff that tends to unearth itself when we
Right.
dig around this property. So
Yeah.
it's always exciting to
I
find those
I
things.
loved it at my old house because they had two separate places where they burned their trash. Basically, they threw
Right?
all their junk and stuff. And this is 100 years of stuff, And I found I can't remember what the type of farming equipment is, but basically it drags dirt, basically,
Yeah,
and it's basically just a circle. And I went, huh. And yeah, I took that and I gave it to some friends of mine for blacksmithing, and I can't remember what they ended up making out of it, but something, decorative more than practical, but still, yeah, this thing is probably 100 years old here.
that's
Take it,
cool.
and use
Yeah,
it. And the difference in the steel at that point, as opposed to now, there's some very interesting metallurgical changes in steel because of radiation.
different ore. Yeah, for sure.
It's very interesting, very nerdy,
That's
interesting,
yeah. So
nerdy.
that's the project that's going on currently at our house. But
Yeah, cool.
yeah, but the other part of things that are going on today as we record is May the 4th. And, just everybody's out doing maybe their own little Star Wars thing.
May
It's
the
always
fourth be
interesting to
with you.
see. Yeah, and I don't remember what the second half of that line? I
If you're
think
Catholic, you say
is
and
it
with your
also with
spirit.
you? Oh, I
And
say is it
with your
also with
spirit is
you
that
actually is
also
what
with you was the
that's
way I
that's
think Catholics
that's the
did it.
old Catholic way. That's
Yep.
that's what I remember it as. So,
Yep. And now
yeah,
it's with your spirit. So
with
yeah.
your spirit. Okay. Well, all
Try to
right,
keep up on
Qui-Gon
these things,
Jinn.
but yeah, I'm not
Sure. No.
exactly Catholic anymore. So I'm like, I think that's what we do, or they do. But
I
yeah,
yeah, who
may the
knows?
fourth be with you
Yeah,
and with
and
your spirit.
also with you and your spirit. So
Yes.
there, I
Yeah.
got it. That it is May. We've been talking about for the past couple of weeks that it is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is very important and something that we have talked about at extent. Keep talking about it every time. And it's not a
Well,
bad thing to be talking about,
it's
though.
always been a part of the show, and I feel like it's always been a part of the network,
Yeah.
because what this job does to your mental health.
Yeah.
just the things that you're talking about right now about how stressful this is, and all you want is a greenhouse. You're looking to do an addition, you're looking to do an amazing thing, but crap. And now you hit concrete and just that stress that builds when we're doing anything like that. And a lot of people hear mental health and they think of, people that have been more affected by it, or actually the people with mental illness, things of that. But no, your mental health is just your stress level a lot of times. How are you
Yeah.
handling this? And you're handling it from what I can see very well.
So far.
This is a stressful time and each one adds a little bit more. So what do we do to deal with that stress of just this freaking job, but much less, being a parent at all or being, an involved parent and then dealing with your house, your DIY projects, which
Yeah.
ones you should have just paid somebody for.
Yes, definitely. That's so true. Yeah.
That's a
It
hard
sucks.
lesson.
It sucks to have to cut the check to make it happen or, whatever
Hmm.
it is. But in the end, the lack of am I going to screw this up worse lowers when you have professional take care of it. So
Yes,
there
yes.
definitely is that side to it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just with mental health, it's one of those things where I feel like when you talk to different people, if it's somebody who hasn't really taken the time to evaluate it in their own life and see the importance of it. I feel like there's a lot of convincing almost that has to be involved in the conversation to get them to
Yep.
understand what's going on. I remember back to a conversation a couple of years ago. My dad we were home and I was talking with him and kind of he was in that old man state of mind where there was some younger employees for the trucking agency that he works for and he was telling us how, oh yeah, there's a couple of young drivers that they take these mental health days off. What the heck is that all about? All this stuff. And Corey and I are talking to him about it. And I go, Dad, I go, you're going on a golf trip with some buddies for a few days during the time that you would be working. And he was like, yeah. I go, that is a mental health day. I go, you might see it as a vacation of sorts, but you really want to go on this. You find relaxation in it, and you find that you come back feeling like a sense of just release from all of the
Right.
anxieties of things going on. I do. Okay. That's what we're talking about here. That's exactly what we're talking about here. It's not something where they're checking themselves into a mental facility or anything along those
Exactly.
lines. I go, and so he never really fully like came to terms with it, but he's never brought it up since. I don't know if it was a twofold. I don't want to get into this argument with my son because he's overeducated compared to me and knows stuff,
Yeah.
which is true, but at the same time, and has a better basis for arguments.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
And
something
just
he's never experienced. I mean, in his
exactly.
life, that you never said mental health, and telling people you need therapy was like an insult, was like a slam. And it's like
Oh
you need
yeah.
therapy. No, you're right. I do. Everybody does. Everybody should have a therapist. Everybody should have somebody that they go to and go, "Hey, this is stressing the hell out of me. What do I do? How do I deal with it?" And just the anger that generally is the most common accepted emotion for men and dads, right?
Yeah.
And anger is a secondary emotion, but it is the most, you can show it easier than you can say, I'm frustrated or I'm disappointed or, whatever it might be. So growing up with no understanding and no words for what mental health was, you just had one or two emotions. I'm angry and I'm happy. That's it. You
Hmm.
got two extremes. Do you ever get sad? No, I wouldn't get sad. Why would I get sad? And a lot of us wouldn't. Instead of being sad, we get angry.
Yeah.
And so not having any frame of reference, honestly, I think your dad did very well. I applaud him for just accepting that it exists,
Yeah.
and okay, so maybe there's something that because when you're old, as I unfortunately very well aware, you tend to think of people that are a generation or two younger than you as idiots.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just you'll
it might help
Mhm.
that I've not been quiet about what I've gone through over the
Yes.
years and
Yeah.
how, I've attempted suicide a couple different times and just the things I've gone through. And I've been very forward with just letting them know what's going on with it. And I think that there's a bit of denial, like when I was younger, into what it was, oh, you're just sad, like that kind of thing. But then
Right.
to come about it as, oh, no, this is something else. I've come into the place where they understand there are certain times in the year specifically where my depression can really tend to wear on me. And so I've done my best to try to make that as easy as possible during that time. And so they've understood that as well. And I think that's the other thing is being able to see those moments and be like, ah, okay, this is the routine, this is the track of this is the ebb and flow of life and how this is happening. Okay,
Right.
what things do I need to set up as barriers or what are boundaries or whatever it is to, get through this. But I think too, like you can't you mentioned therapy, and I think that for this month, if anything, as much as we're going to talk about this, my hope is that listeners would be like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's time to actually set an appointment and just, even if it's just
Go
your
talk to somebody.
primary, yeah, even if it's just your primary care doctor and just they have evaluation tools. I know my primary care, I sit down with him and there's questions that they ask and they can rate things and kind of see where you are. And then
Hmm.
from there, they can be like, hey, here's some other resources that you can look into. I didn't know about that until, Corey and I had been talking for a while and she was like, you should go talk to, our primary and just see where things go. And it really opened up doors to be like, oh, there are a lot of other resources out here to help me when I'm in a rough
Hmm.
spot. Yeah.
Right. And my advice always is, of course, your general, you should be getting a physical every year. I know that's expensive, but you should be doing it. And that's the person that you can start a lot of conversations with. And then they can help you find somebody that needs to speak to you more specifically, a specialist, as it were. And it's like with your shoulder, or like with my knee, if things get beyond a certain point, okay, I appreciate it, doc, but I need somebody that's a specialist. I need somebody that's doing this, specifically. They've made that focused education.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. But if you meet a doctor, even a therapist that you don't work well with, get another one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people that run into the issue. Yeah, I've had my therapist for 3 years. Oh yeah, how's it going? No, I don't like him at all. I just don't like going there. I don't. Then find somebody. Why are you going there for 3 years? If I went to my GP and he was completely off base for everything that I wanted to do, and we couldn't even speak really the same medical language or whatever, I would just say, I appreciate it. I'm going to need somebody else. And so many people won't do that with a therapist. And I think a lot of it is the stigma of one having a therapist. So then you have to go out there and ask somebody, hey, who can I talk to? And where are they? And is there a place local? And you get in, you don't want to have to go through all that again. You just want to, no,
Yeah.
no, I did what I needed to do. I'm sticking it out. I'm going to make it happen. Do it again, friends. Just do it again. If they're not right for you, find somebody else. But 100% everybody needs therapy. It's not a slam, it's not an insult. It's just things go on in our brains that we're not taught how to handle. And things may be going on that, like I said, like your shoulder, like my knee, other people's, your joints are hurting. Yeah. This is a place where you need someone that is educated and experienced and can just tell you, oh, yeah, by the way, that stress is actually really bothering you and it's gotten to this point and you just need to be doing these things, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Just go to therapy.
I think too, the other side of it is like we've always talked about, having a mentor and a men's group, I think is something
Yeah.
that's super important, especially this time of year or to get built up, you can get outside, you can do all kinds of different things. So it's a good time to sort of get that in place. I know that talking to different dads at the convention and also seeing conversations online and stuff, there's always that hurdle of one, making that first move to connect with other dads. I get it. It's scary. It's an uncomfortable thing maybe, but it's necessary. And then I think too, along with that is looking around in your community and seeing what opportunities there are to go and connect personally with other dads, like or other men in general. I was just, for me, like I've been connected with the church for a really long time, but
Yeah.
at the same time too, I know multiple guys who they were like, well, I feel the most comfortable coming here and I can share what's going on. And I know just from background, these people are more open to hearing things sometimes. And I think it varies with groups, but at the same time too, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you want to come in, you need to get things off your chest, you're trying to connect with other people. That's a great group to get, just find that. Especially in a small town, there's always the church always has stuff, and you can call them up, like, but maybe if
Hmm.
you feel awkward enough, you're like, I don't want to in person go up and ask these questions about resources. Just call them, be like, hey, I'm looking for a group that meets regularly, that, you can share what's going on, and, just have those conversations. Even if they don't have something maybe going on in their building, there's something going on in the community. And if there's not even that, it might actually be the catalyst that actually starts something. Because sometimes if one person's, I would really like this, but I don't know where to go, and then another person says the same thing and they connect somehow, that's how it gets started right there. That's all it takes. And I think that it's one of those, you got to take the first step. You got to put yourself out there, and there are other people that are definitely going through some of the same things. So it's that opportunity to be able to do that. And I thought that was really cool too. With I had a guy in one of the groups I'm in, there's a married group that I'm a part of at church, and they don't have any kids or anything like that, but his background is he's a therapist, and
Hmm.
he's working on building a group of guys together that have that ability to just get together and talk. And I thought it was really cool. I got invited to his focus group this past weekend, but I couldn't make it due to a scheduling issue. But he sent me the email anyways and was like, hey, here's the questions that we asked and stuff. I'd love to get your feedback on it. So it's not like he gave up on not being able to get me to participate in it, which I thought was really cool because I thought I was going to miss out on the opportunity to participate
Yeah.
in it. So that's the kind of stuff that is out there, and it's just kind of you putting yourself out there to be able to do it.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And I know that it's often very easy for us, especially you and I, to just say, just find a men's group. And if there's not one, start one. And I still think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Find
stop pushing
somebody
that
that
in
you can
people's
support
face,
with.
definitely.
Right. Yeah. And it may seem difficult, it may seem awful, but if you're looking for it and you don't find it, someone else is looking for it too. Every community should have a dad's group of some sort, something going on. The smallest towns in the world will have something going on for it. And again, usually maybe at the church. I would say also the library.
Yeah.
I would take my kids to the library and see who was there at story time. See who was there, on a regular day, or just ask your librarian, media specialist, and just, hey, is there a dad group or anything that meets here with any regularity? Or because I see, are there other dads here? And just let them know what you're looking for. And I will say it's easy as telling them what book you're looking for. Just do that same thing, and they're going to be there to help you just the same way. I really think everyone needs that. You need, like you said, a mentor and a men's group. Find a place where you can just dump that emotional buildup and say, okay, well, this is really making me mad. They've hit the fourth foundation now, and I don't know what's going on with them. And I just, grrr, and that'll get to you. And if you don't have someone to vent to, someone to talk to, and someone, especially in my opinion, when another man looks at you and goes, God, man, that sucks. It's really different than the experience you have telling your partner.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there to support you and you're there to support them, and it's a great relationship and everything's amazing and incredible. However, it's not the same as going to someone that's outside of your, household, your family structure, and
Hmm.
saying, dude, this is driving me crazy. And
Yeah.
having them respond, having them hear you. I really think that we can't stress that enough.
Yeah, that's what I've really enjoyed about the WhatsApp group for Cincinnati Dads group. The guys in there, they've been able to post the struggles and things that they're going through. One guy, I
Awesome.
remember we kind of got things going, and I remember one of the guys, one within the first month, posted. He had told us that they were pregnant with their second child, and it was like a week after that told us that they had a miscarriage,
Oh,
and it was awesome to see the guys have conversations with him and just everybody connecting with him. And then I remember meeting up with him at a dad's night out around the fire pit, and we were just chatting, and he was like, man, I'm so glad I had this group. I wouldn't have known how to even navigate that whole situation and the
Right.
advice that was given to me. And just how to support my wife and at the same time get my feelings and emotions out about it too, that kind of thing. And that's the thing that I've really enjoyed about that group. That even something like that. I mean, guys are spread out all over this area and still the connection is strong with the guys, and
Hmm.
and I think that to me that's one of those important processes that gets missed a lot of times or overlooked is just, oh, is this another piece of technology? No, actually, it's more than that. And it can save a life, honestly. Like, it's because you can really go down a dark path very quickly with something as
Yeah.
extreme as that in your life.
And losing a child. I mean, I can't, I don't know that anything ever hurt me as bad as that. And
Yeah.
when we had a miscarriage, and it was just, God, it was devastating. And then at the same time, because I hadn't, met the child yet, it was a miscarriage. Like I said, we hadn't really even formed an attachment. I had moments of, why am I so upset about this? I mean, I didn't even know this child. I didn't know this little, I mean, they were a peanut, or I don't know how big they were at the time, but they're smaller than a banana for scale.
Yeah.
And why is it affecting me so much? Should I be putting this much energy and effort into it, this much emotion? Should I be feeling like this? And of course, the answer is if you're feeling like that, then you should be feeling like that. That's always correct. Don't let it control you, things like that, of course. But yeah, if you're feeling it, you should be feeling it. But
Yeah.
understanding, how do I handle that hit? I mean, I took a hard hit. How do I handle it? Just
Right.
like with anything, and if we bring it down to sports like football or any other sports where there's physical contact, you learn how to put pads on, you know how to take a shot. You still get hurt, but you know how to roll with it and you build up that strength in it. And having someone else that you can talk to that helps you understand, this is what you need to do now. This is where you need to be strong. This is where you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable, is
Yeah.
very important with something like the loss of a child. I mean, I can't, grief in and of itself is a completely destructive but amazing part of our existence, but we don't know how to deal with it. And centering back on that, focusing on that, especially again, losing a child, by talking to other men, it's that easy. And I think people really don't understand that. Yeah, this will help you. Maybe not the first time. Go back again, do it again, do two or
Yeah.
three, you know?
I
So,
definitely agree with that. Yeah. I was looking at my bookshelf. I was trying to see. I had a book. I think I gave it to I think I gave it to a dad who was going through a miscarriage and I don't think that I got it back from them, but that's okay.
hmm,
There was a dad who wrote a book about his experience and published it and so
ooh,
I had a copy of it and I'm pretty much sure that it did not come back to me because I'm not seeing it down here on the shelf. But if I'll have to look it up and I can post a link for that book because it's actually really good. Yeah, looking at the list of things that you sent over in the email too about things. Also, too, one thing that I think is really cool we finally have after all these years is an actual three-digit number for help. Uh,
yeah.
that came into place. When was that? Was it during COVID that came in?
I think it was about that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
it was, yeah, I think so. Because I remember something about doing it in quarantine, but I don't know. I don't know for sure.
yeah, so you can call 988 to get to a person to talk with them. That's a number that hadn't been available before. It was like one long 1-800 or
Right.
whatever. So the fact that there's a 988, which I'm gonna I
It was in
it
2022.
it was 2022. Okay, cool.
Because I
Well,
had looked that up. We had an
yeah,
unanswered
well,
question. I got to take care of that.
yeah. So that in itself, that's huge because
Yeah.
prior to that, I mean, yeah, like you had this long 1-800 number that you had to call. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, if you're somebody that's in need, that's too long of a number.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
It
you need
really
something
is.
more direct. And I love too that there are a lot of services and a lot of people that are offering text help. And while it may not be what I love to see, the reality is more and more people are going to texting over talking.
Yeah.
especially you look at Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they have definitely grown up in a world where they text everything. And the thing I was thinking about, we were talking actually with a company called Help Text, and they are a very well done support group, basically. And all it is, they will send you a text, with regular things about what might be going on in your bereavement or what have you. And I thought, what a genius idea, because how many dads have been trained to not talk? And how difficult
Yeah.
is it for a dad to just stand up and say, hey, this is bothering me? But if you have someone texting you, it's almost anonymous. It's almost at a point where you're not having to speak about it, but you can hear about it. You can listen to someone else's experience about it or what have you, so that you can get a text that is going to be much more impactful for you than even a voicemail. And definitely more than trying to get on the phone with somebody and you trying to reach out to it is more difficult as well. The technology that we're moving into over and over again is just, I feel like, just making things much, much better for our mental health overall.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, so you talk about texting and stuff. I remember recently there was someone on, I think it was the National At Home Dad Network, that was talking about just having a rough go and
Mm-hmm.
not really wanting to for they had evaluated things and felt that it would be best if they were not around anymore, and
Yeah,
the guys that jumped into that thread to have a conversation with them was amazing to watch and see everybody getting involved and trying to give him help and everything like that. And I don't know exactly where that all went, but hopefully that person is in a better place with their emotions and their mindset on things. But just the fact that they were willing to reach out in that aspect, I think is just shows this shows the importance and the support that this organization has. And
mm,
it's always interesting to, I mean, like you bring up to people that, oh, there's a organization for stay-at-home dads, and yeah, and it's highly needed. It really is.
yeah,
It's one of those things that, yeah, you're surprised to hear about it, but when you can tell success stories about, hey, this
right,
organization helped this person out, like this, this connection saved this family, this loss, this trauma to have to go through type of deal. And, and it wasn't just one person in the organization having that conversation with them. It was a group of guys who understand and are willing to step up and, you know, be there for somebody they've never met
absolutely,
before ever, which is
right,
the biggest thing. It's usually a complete stranger.
mm-hmm.
The guys that I see a lot of times on there, like they're people that haven't even made it to the convention, but they've
Right,
seen what has gone on at the convention. They've seen what's gone on over the years, and they understand, oh, this is a life support system. This is
yes,
something to be able to use. And I think that the fact that there's that really awesome just example of that, and just sort of like almost like this underlying effort known that they can reach out is an amazing thing that I would have never had anticipated when I first joined the organization, and it wasn't something that I would have considered being a part of it, and it's
mm-hmm.
really cool that it is.
And I will say we're not a support group per se. That's not,
Oh,
we can't say that we're a support group. And we're not able to say we're a safe space, honestly, because that requires a lot more privacy. And even though our private Facebook page is private and everyone goes through join requests and we vet people and what have you, we still don't know if there's somebody on the other side of their screen with them, so you really have to avoid saying safe space. However,
sure.
we do offer as one of our main pillars support. That is one of that's just it's faces family advocacy, community education, support, and that support is almost expected. We have members come in that something happens that doesn't seem to be supportive. I thought this was a support group. I thought this is what and we've got that kind of reputation with the National At Home Network
Yeah,
because we are willing to be vulnerable, willing to show, yeah, look at this. I don't have any armor right here. That's awful. And knowing that we can do that because one, we're strong enough to show our vulnerabilities, but two, that we're in a group of people who aren't going to stab you in that vulnerable spot. You don't have any
right.
armor there, doink,
Yep.
which happens a lot of times in men's groups. I've been in other men's groups and I'm like, you guys are garbage. see no reason whatsoever to even come back here. You guys are hurting each other for no other reason than, I don't know, ego, pride. I don't know. There's too many possible psychological reasons why people might be mean to each other. But what we're doing is very special. And
Yeah,
I'm very happy to be a part of it. It has benefited me 100 times over for
yeah,
reasons like that.
but definitely. I think to wrap up this episode, I just want to point out just some of the things that we've talked about, just so that people have that in mind. One, the 988 number, something to keep in your back pocket. Two, we talked about practicing self-care, which we talk about that on the regular in this
All the
show and
time.
in all the different ways for that. Seek support. We talked about different ways that you can get that. Practicing mindfulness. I think that we talked a little bit about that, but just the fact that, being open and being able to see that you need help is definitely a big part of that
Yes.
mindfulness and setting boundaries, just different ways that you can guard yourself in one way and open yourself up in another way is important so that you are getting the best help for yourself. And then education for yourself, we talked about all the different resources and ways that you can get help and, just being able to maneuver through a tough situation. So keeping those things in mind are definitely huge helps, and we hope that they help you as we continue to talk through the month of May about mental health. And we will be back next week with more on that topic. We hope that you have a great week, and please reach out to the organization through our different social media channels if you need to talk to somebody. The Dad Lounge is a great place for that. Dad's Gotta Talk is also another great place for that. And we'll put up the schedules of when those things are in the show notes as well so that you can see when to be able to join those things. But thanks for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.